Good afternoon. This is Ron Brown. It's January 24th, 2025. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I was cleaning out my office and I came across a old handbook from Telescan. It's called Pro Searches, and it was actually the first seminar that I went to that Ian was putting on. This was in Houston, and uh, let's see, when was that? 1997, I believe. See, I have the PDF down here. It was called In Search of Profitable High Growth Stocks. Searches January 1997. I had just quit my job at a marketing company, and I was looking for a way to learn investing, so I booked a flight and went to a seminar that Ian was putting on in Houston. Now, these searches were, this was a big deal at the time. The company was Telescan, and they were able to take financial or fundamental and technical data and put together some searches. And that's what we were using many years ago. And I scanned these in, that's why they're crooked. For example, here's high ERG stocks using ERG, and they just put certain criteria here in the fields and then weighted them, and a lot of list only. So the primary weighting here was stock price and ERG, very simple scan. So I started thinking about this, and I thought, well, why can't we do some of these scans, or why can't I experiment with some of them in HGS Investor and using the combo rank, and that's what I'm working on. Now, these are not ready because I don't know how well they're going to work, but anyway, I just want to show you what I'm up to. Something a little different. As always, the market is your teacher. We learn that every time we put our hard-earned money out there, but any stock index or ETF mentioned in this presentation is not a recommendation to buy or sell. All trading strategies are used at your own risk. Now, before I get to the software, I want to point out a search that's contained in this booklet. It's called the High Five, and Ian wrote this. This is the last of the HGS searches. Ian and I, or somebody else wrote it, but Ian was involved. I'm sorry. Ian and I think it's the best. It's been extensively backtested and proven to be a winner in up, down, and sideways markets. The benchmark was Pro Search Strategy Handbook by Paul Alvin, and High Five beat it in nearly all cases. And with a combo, I can simulate this. It's not going to be exactly the same because of this was filtered, and I have to use weighting also with a combo rank, but I cannot weight like this. I can't weight all of these at 100%. You'll see when I get into the combo. Anyway, I want to point out here what this is High Five. It's a high PE ratio, minimum of 25, and this was back in 1997. The ERG was high, EPS rank was list only, price rank 85 to 99, so generally high price stocks. These fields here were just list only until I get down here to percent high value 52 week, or anywhere near the 52 week high. So these are stocks that have been moving, and then all these other fields other than, let's see, this is list only, 1 month change, and then relative performance 26 week. You can see these are all weighted, 30-day moving average volume, 200-day moving average, today's volume, and so on. Next fiscal year projected earnings and return on sales. And this is the report, the first page of the report that came out of this back in 1997. Now let's get into the software. Need to get out of here, of course. And like I said, these aren't ready. I'm just beginning to experiment with them. But I've created a folder in my user SmartGroups called Pro Searches, and I realized that to keep the database, I need to date these. So I've set these up with dates as of today. I've saved a few days worth, but today was the first day I remembered to date them. But I'm going to go into my designer, and I'm going to manage my user SmartGroups. See, there's the searches. To get a date, you put percentage, date, percentage in front of the name. Now, I did it in front of the folders, but I forgot to date the individual searches. So, but what I've got so far, what I'm working on, I don't really know if I have anything yet, but I wanted to share this with you just to show you that we have a lot of versatility and a lot of power in this software that you don't find other places. ProSearch, Telescan. Telescan's long gone, but we still have HGSI. Now, so these are some of the ones that these are the ones that I have. I don't think they're finished products at all, but let me just show you what I'm looking at here. There's box stocks with volume point of control driver, High 5 Pro Search, SMR, which stands for sales margin and return on equity. This is something that I'm trying to simulate, similar to what IBD does. They'll probably come and sue me if I use SMR, but anyway, I'll change that if it's a problem. And I'm using SMR with an undercut and rally crossover, fan up, and setting up. And here's under $30. Wyckoff with a demand driver, Wyckoff lack of supply, and then strong erg VPA. These are all driven by combo rankings, but these two here, the UNR, undercut and rally, they have to have a filter in them too. The other one's just a basic filter. So I'm going to go into this one. Let's take. I don't have time to do all of them. And by the way, or like I said, they're really not ready to go. But I just want to show you how it works. HGSI reference groups. I'm in all securities. The basic filter I'm using is $1, 90-day moving average volume, 2.25 common stock equals yes, group rank greater than or equal to. So I'm not limiting the group rank. If were just the caret itself without the equal sign, it would only find stocks and groups. But this way, if there's IPOs and so on that aren't in a group yet, they will appear. That's just the base filter. So all the work is being done by the combo rank, and let's just take a look at it. Now I can't put percentages in like they did in using a Telescan's Pro Search, but I can weight these fields that are in HGSI. For example, I weighted the percentage price change 5-day at 16.7%. So I'm looking for stocks that are on the move, and then I put equal weighting on relative strength, close above the 200-day moving average, 90-day moving average, volume erg, percentage close to the 52-week, 6-month change, which means that these stocks have been moving for a while, percent volume to the 20-day moving average volume, revenue growth, PE trailing 12 months, projected earnings next year, EPS trailing 12 months, EPS change. This is the most recent quarter, and 5-year EPS growth. So this is my current simulation for high 5. Now, this doesn't look much like what they had, but I believe it is giving us the same type of stock. So what we're going to do is we're going to find out. So I'll click on that, and I'll click on this, I'll click on this. I'll go ahead and rebuild the the user SmartGroups. Okay, this works with the end of day data. Almost done. Okay, so I'm finished. Now the pro searches that I've saved so far, I just started this week, but if you open this up, you'll see that there's a high 5 here, but not dated because I forgot to put the dates on each of these, but there's one of these in each of the folders. So let's just take a look at some of these stocks. The first thing you'll notice on these high 5 stocks is that every one of them has a high relative strength rank. Well, this is the intraday today. Let me go back. I created what I call a ProSearch Master View, which has all the information I want in it. This is the end of day. This is not available yet either. I'm tweaking a lot of this stuff, but let's just take a look at this. This is the ProSearch Master View, and I'm in the High 5 ProSearch, and this is from the 17th. Okay, so let's look at some of these fields here. I'm going to start over here with the ERG. You can see the relative strength rank is high on all of these. EPS rank really varies a lot. Some stocks that are really high flyers do not have a high EPS. So this was good about the combo. It's not restrictive like a filter is. Now the group rank also, some of these are not in a real strong group, but when you look at the ERG, most of these have a decent ERG. I'm going to take my arrow off so I can sort this. And you can see that out of the 50, and I'm limiting these to 50 right now, that 28 of the 50 have a high ERG. Several of them are in the yellow range. I think it's 180 up to 240. It's been a long time. I can't remember exactly. And then the ones under that, there's only 3 that are under that. But looking at this, the 50% of the 52-week range, you can see that they're all trading relatively high to the 52-week. These are above here. These are all 80%. So if we move over here and look at the percent close, let's see, did I put that in here? No, it wasn't in here. I had the range in here, this column, but I didn't have the actual percent close to the 52-week high. But you can see KKR, as of yesterday, is trading at nearly 100% of its 52-week range and down minus 0.1%. So if I bring this chart up, well, you can see it best on the weekly chart over here. It's trading near its 52-week range. So this would be one of the high 5 stocks because it meets the criteria, at least technically. You can see in this view I've included the VPA signals, and then there's some fundamental information over here too. Most of this, this is all weighted somewhat, so you can see that there's good revenue growth, EPS growth, PE, and so on, 5-year growth rate on KKR. It's all here. But another thing you can do when I get these ready, or get this ready and put these together, you can just drop down here and click on the third view, which is as sales margin and return on equity, and I've got this set up so it uses the same filter. Let me show you. So here's the end of day filter, scorecard 250K. And if I drop down here, there's no filter attached, so it's going to use the same filter. So these stocks are going to line up same as they were under this view. Notice that nothing changes. And the reason I did that is I wanted to get a quick read on some of the fundamentals. Revenue change. Let me realign this. Like I said, this is all beta. I don't need 2 raw combo ranks, do I? Okay, revenue change, previous, EPS change, EPS previous, pre-tax profit, PE, return on equity divided by PE, and price to sales. Those are the fields I put in here. I wanted that in here, plus I wanted to see how much these have gained over the past. Well, here's intraday, and then 1 day, 5 day, 21 day, beginning of the year, and 12 months. Plus, I put the ERG right here so we could see it. And here's the last close, and here's the intraday, a 1 day change. Let's look at some of these others. I'm just going to flip down here. You can see that these are on the weekly chart. These are all on the move. Some of them not quite so much, but most of them have already had huge moves. And here is looks like a buyout. But according to Ian and whoever helped put this together, and I don't know who it was, this is before I even met Ian, they found that this scan over multiple time periods, even during a bad market, worked out. The Pro Search scan, not necessarily my scan, but what I'm trying to do is simulate it, and it may need more work, but I'm just going to gather the data and see how it works over time. So this was, let me make sure. Yeah, this is the 17th, and in the future they'll all be dated, so I'll know exactly what they are. But so this is about 5 days ago. This is the 24th, more than 5 days ago. But you can see that over the 5 day period, most of these have performed quite well. Well, this is Bitcoin related here, a crypto type stock, so it's down, but crypto's all over the place, as you know. But this is pretty impressive here, and so is the 21 day and the beginning of the year and the 12 months. Now I'm going to move on to another search and show you the SMR, sales margin and return on equity. And this is the way this is set up. If I can find my Pro searches. Same filter, basic filter, 250K. I'm using the same filter. And then the combo ranking. This is pretty much a fundamental filter or combo. Well, it is a fundamental combo. So I'm going to bring my arrow up, and you can see quarterly revenue per share divided by the trailing 12 months, pre-tax profit margin, EPS change -1, and EPS. These are not really necessarily in the right order to read this, but I'm looking for quarterly revenue growth, and EPS and revenue growth. Okay, so let's see what we have here. And I'll say, okay, I do not need to rebuild. See what kind of stocks it is pulling up. And I'm going to go back here. to the, let's see what's here on this day. This is the 17th. And I'll click through here. And you can see that there are a lot of familiar big names in here. Let me get that arrow going here. Here's Alphabet, Broadcom, JP Morgan, Meta, Taiwan Semiconductor, Visa. I don't need to read all these, but you can see Netflix, Microsoft, Wells Fargo, Micron, Berkshire, T-Mobile, and so on and so on. So it's pulling these types of stocks up. And notice I'm limiting this to 50. All these groups are limited to 50 stocks. Now my combo ranking on this view is my VPA trends up, which is putting the stocks with the best trends at the top of the list. I'm going to drop down to this other view. And these views are not finished, by the way. But you can see nothing changed here. Here's Alphabet. Here's Broadcom, JP Morgan, and so on. And here's your revenue change, revenue previous, EPS change, EPS previous, which compares to 1 year ago. Both of these do. Because, as you know, you compare quarter to quarter. Pre-tax profit, you can see there's some big pre-tax profit numbers on these stocks. Let me open this up. Pfizer doesn't have much, Allstate, but look at the pre-tax profit on all these. These are generally fundamentally good stocks. Now, if you look over here, and I'm in the SMR view, you can see how these stocks have performed since the beginning of the year. 21 days, 12 months. So I think the combo does a pretty good job. Like I said, this is a project that I just started, and I'm kind of encouraged by it. Before I end this video, let's do one thing. This is the SMR from the 17th. Let me do this. I'm going to go in and go into the designer, and I'm going to I don't know if you know you can do this, but you can compare a couple of groups. So I'm going to go down here to my stocks, my pro searches, and these are not included in your file yet. I'm going to go to the 17th. I'm going to compare the High 5 Pro Search to the SMR. So I'm comparing High 5 Pro Search to SMR, see if there are stocks in both of them. Okay, only in High 5 Pro Search, only in SMR. See, they're two totally different groups. In both groups, there weren't any. So two totally different groups. Now I'll do one more here. We'll compare the compare groups. I'm going to compare it on the 17th. I'm going to compare it to the strong ERG VPA. See if there's anything here. Just overwrite that other one. Okay, right here. I didn't point this out before. I forgot to. 41 only in the high five, 41 only in the strong erg, but there are 9 in both groups. So you just open this up, you can see the stocks. But if you're trying to look for stocks that are in multiple groups, so all of these are in both groups. So strong erg, VPA. And if you want to make a watch list, you just copy the symbols, do a Control C. And let's just go down here. Both groups. I wouldn't call it that, but and then I'm going to paste the list. So these stocks were in both of the groups that I looked at. I don't need an index. And you can see today, down day, and it's actually getting a little bit worse as I'm doing this. But you can see how these have performed that are in both groups. So anyway, that's an introduction to what I'm doing. I am collecting the data, and I can see how these perform, and then I'll release them to you hopefully next week. Thanks for listening, and have a very good weekend.